Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my third video in my 5-part series on mental health. Today's video is kind of a story time of my struggles with postpartum depression and kind of how I coped with it and how I got over it. So I don't have any notes written down on this one, so just bear with me. It's going to be pretty raw and just kind of off the top of my head. Also, my last video, I did not have the bed made, but I made the bed this time, in case it drives anyone crazy. I think that I'm going to be filming the rest of these videos for this series today, so if you see me in the same outfit, that is why. All except the Q&A will probably be in a different outfit because I need your guys' questions, so please leave some questions for me. So let's just get into it. So, as many of you know, when I was pregnant with my daughter, her father went missing. I have a whole video on that. You guys are welcome to check out. It was a hard video for me to make. The quality is very bad, but if you're curious about how he went missing, why he went missing, anything like that, check that out. So he went missing and I got pretty depressed throughout my pregnancy. I was depressed, I was angry, I was frustrated, I didn't understand why what was happening. And on top of that, I'm pregnant, I have a ton of hormones, and I was a hot mess, but I was still doing the things that I needed to do to make a good future for my daughter and I still was very, very happy to be pregnant and to be having a precious baby. Also when I was pregnant, the only thing that really kept me happy was the fact that I was going to have a child. So after I had her August 20th of 2018. Everything was really good, I would say, for about a week, but then, you know, the tiredness set in. She was not sleeping. The overwhelming feelings that I would get, I was trying to breastfeed, it wasn't going well. I was very upset seeing other moms who had the fathers there, and you know, I became very envious of families, of husbands and wives and families, because I didn't have that. And while I did have a lot of help with my grandmother, she did help a ton, it was still very hard for me. So after I had her, I did end up getting a job when she was about 6 weeks old. I went back to work and things were going pretty good. I felt very good. I knew that I was doing what I needed to do for my daughter and I, but shortly I became super overwhelmed. So my daughter was in and out of the hospital. She had RSV. She was super sick. I was missing days because of that at work. I was missing days because she was in the hospital. Sorry I repeat myself. That must get annoying. I'm trying to get better at this. So anyway, so she was in and out of the hospital and I was missing days off of work, and my work was getting kind of mad. So I was kind of dealing with that at work. I was dealing with things outside of work, and then on top of that, I was, you know, still working about 45-50 hours a week. So it was a lot for me to handle. And at this point, I'm also starting to date guys, and I'm, you know, kind of getting my heart broken, I'm getting my hopes up. You know, guys aren't treating me the way that I want to be treated. You know, guys are talking down on me because I have a daughter. You know, I was facing a lot of hate in the dating world, and eventually I met a guy and I started dating him. I was only with him for about a month, but he wasn't a guy that I really liked. I didn't really want to be with him. He was just somebody there, if I'm completely honest. And things got really bad at this point. I ended up losing my job because I started honestly calling out of work for stupid reasons to hang out with this guy or do whatever I wanted. When I was at work, I was having mental breakdowns because it was a lot to handle with my daughter's father not being here. I was trying to find my place, trying to find the one for me, and I was just all around, I was a mess. So I lost my job. At this point, I also got kicked out of my grandmother's house because I was making some poor choices with who I was hanging out with, and she didn't like that, and she was honestly done with it. She was worried I was going to slip back into my old ways, and she kicked me out. Thankfully, we figured it out, my daughter and I had somewhere to go, and that was fine. But at this point, I was severely depressed. You know, I was worried about what's going to happen for our future, and I was so stressed and depressed and anxious, and you know, a lot of this I think was heightened because of my postpartum depression. So it was just not It was not a good situation. At this point, I had put myself into a partial hospitalization program for a drug outpatient center because I wanted to get some help with my mental health, but I also knew that if I wasn't careful, I was going to slip back into drugs, so I wanted the drug counseling aspect as well, so I chose to go into this program. While I was in this program, at first I was starting to feel a lot better. I was starting to do what I needed to do. I was applying for jobs again. I was getting somewhere within the first couple of weeks. But then a guy walked in, and I'm me. I ended up dating him. We ended up getting into some bad things together. I had started abusing meth. I only abused it for about a month, and then I got clean. I'm, I believe, 7 or 8 months clean from meth now. That's a whole story time to do for you guys. So, when I was on meth, I was severely depressed. That's just the way it is. And I don't think at this point it was any longer postpartum depression. But once I got clean off the meth, my postpartum depression, my regular depression, my anxiety, everything was heightened to the max, and I was very suicidal. I wanted to die. I was in a total downward spiral. While I was getting clean off of meth and I was staying clean off of it, I was still a hot mess all over the place. So at this point, I decided, you know what, screw it. I need to do what I gotta do. And I ended up putting myself back into the partial hospitalization program, which actually worked this time. I actually didn't end up going into the partial hospitalization. I went into the IOP, which is a step down from there. So you're in there for 3 days a week for 3 hours. So I was doing that. I was making a lot of progress. I got a job. I started working, and I was doing very well. Now, one of the things that I want to mention for coping throughout this time period, music was a huge thing for me. Listening to music and writing my own music, writing lyrics, journaling, that was my whole thing. And I don't think I would have gotten through what I was going through without that. And then obviously another coping skill was looking at my daughter and knowing that I have to do good for her. So once I started making progress in this IOP group, this partial hospitalization program, things started going very good. I became my old self again. I got out of that depression, and I was doing very well for myself. And that is when I met Aaron, and we fell in love, and everything changed from there. If you guys want to see a story time of how I met Aaron and kind of how my life changed over, you know, those couple months before I moved in with him and how my life has changed now, I'd be happy to do that. But I have to say, meeting Aaron and wanting to do good so that I could be with him, so that he would want to be with me too, that was a huge motivator, and that's honestly what pulled me out of my depression and pulled me out of everything. It was just that one person, which I'm so grateful for. And that's about it for that. So, I thought it was an interesting story time to share with you guys. Again, I hope that it helps someone out there knowing that I was going through this really hard time and I pulled myself out of it. I also do want to mention, yes, for me, it was a person that pulled me out of this, but it may not be a person that pulls you out of this. You might have to do this yourself and find a way to pull yourself out of it. Find some type of internal motivator to pull yourself out of whatever you're going through. So I don't want to put it out there, you know, to go look for the one or go look for a person that's going to save you, because chances are you probably have to save yourself. It just so happened that a huge part of me saving myself was meeting another person and having him contribute to saving me. So that's all I want to say about that. If you would like, follow my Instagram, BA_babymama. DM me any questions or comments, or leave a comment in the comment section down below, and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get more notifications for when my videos come out. And I think that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.